Hello. I'm sorry to hear, Mosscliff, that I seem to only be able to do world building streams when you're at work. But hello, everyone. It is me, Vasco Prola, here performing for you. If you know the words, you can sing them too. No. Yeah, we're just gonna be doing a quick world building stream. Just been fiending for him. I've been wanting them. I want them so super bad. So we're just gonna be doing it again. I've been thinking about a lot of things. So I'll probably be doing like a almost like a minor presentation to discuss like certain aspects of what we've been working on. But first, I actually need to go real quick. Just remembered something, so I'll be back in just 1 second. Great start, totally not scuffed. I'm going to just go like this. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, totally not scuffed start of the stream. I return from the grave to do cool streaming stuff. Anyways, hello everyone. It's me. Back here with you, wanting to do some world building stream stuff. So, last time we basically more or less finalized certain aspects about like the world of world building, of the system and stuff like that, such as like magic and how that works, as well as like what happens if someone dies, so on and so forth, right? And we started working on some aspects of the world we're gonna be writing in to start, which currently doesn't have a name. It's just called Forsaken or The Forsaken. Um, yeah. So hang on one second. I'm just going to check a couple of things real quick because I also forgot. Man, I'm very disorganized right now. And also my fucking there. So yeah, we've worked on a couple things. So for instance, the world's called so far called the Forsaken. Probably not going to be being called the Forsaken. The world soul vessels or holders, called it's First Growth, which is basically cultivation. I renamed it to First Growth, and the Inoculation. And basically, to re-summarize very quickly what this world is like, it is a Bronze Age level of technology on this world. But a disease has broken out on in the worlds before society could really develop. So for a bit, a lot of the world was kind of like Neolithic, I would say. So very nomadic stuff like that, like semi-nomadic or very just like flat out nomadic. Um, the there is a because there's a disease that is from transplant magic. That I've just named Blight, and the users are going to be called the Blighted. It is a disease that consumes the soul of the user, and through like a weird semi-parasitic slash semi symbiotic relationship, the disease grants magical abilities while eating the soul, and also kind of forces the user to consume more in order to be able to keep their soul revitalized, as well as it would help out with like spreading the disease and so on. Um, so the Blight, pretty simple, gives some cool abilities, right? I call it total anatomical control, higher durability, healing factor, predatory mutations like sharp teeth, claws on the hands and feet, improved eyesight, such as stuff like that. And then here's the spicy one. Here's the spicy one down here. This is the magic system that I've been developing for the counter, like what the natural magic system. It is called so far the Vein. Now, the Vein is very unique, to say the least, due to certain aspects of it. Primarily speaking, the Vein has, what's the word for world blood? Like the source for the Vein is the blood of the world itself, kind of seeping into pools, right? And um basically when someone enters this pool, um it grants them magical abilities, like basically like a fuel source to use, and then there's certain like organization stuff there. Primarily the Vein, I would say, like, I basically, like, I was discussing with my friends for a bit. I was like, yeah, the Vein, it's gonna have like a couple organization measures, such as the chambers. The chambers are basically a way of organizing how long someone can actually get, like remain within the world blood before the body begins rejecting the effects, right? And like the rejection is not like well, it can be dangerous, but rejection is more like it's more just like saying what your cap is, right? Like, yeah, your body, you're so full of sauce, right? You can't have any more sauce for the time being until you use the sauce. Um, and basically the way I'm organizing the chambers is that there is 4 chambers total. There is fourth lower, third upper, second lower, first upper, right? Those are the chambers uh of the vein, and basically it's organizing people to based on how much time they can spend within the vein. So like fourth chamber is like a minute to like 10 minutes within the pool before the body begins showing rejection. um I would say third would be like 10 to 30 minutes, or maybe like 10 minutes to like an hour, and then like the second chamber is like an hour to like 2 or 3 hours, and then the first chamber is like basically up to or exceeding a day, right? But there is a point where you basically have to get out because you know you need to like function like an actual living creature. So you know that's the big thing, right? So you need to function like a actual living person at some point. So it's more just like saying how long someone can sit within the chambers without exploding. Even though they don't explode, they just get very very uncomfortable and like cramp and stuff like that. But it's cool stuff like that. Uh, yeah. The vein's pretty cool, I think. There's also the further organization of the chambers go within basically the abilities granted by the vein, which is going to be organized by blood type. So like for sake of example, I'm thinking that the blood types is going to be like like the O blood type, right? Let's just say for the sake of example, which it may or may not at this point be this way. uh O grants psionic abilities. Positive and negative result in different things, right? So O negative is pure telepathy and like and all that entails, right? While O positive is a bit different in the fact that it is basically external, right? It's external, so like O positive would be like telekinetic, like being able to lift things with the mind meat. So yeah, it's a thing that I have been working on. That's pretty cool. Also, just gonna inform some people of some things real quick. Oh, hang on. Let me also turn on my... Yeah, there we go. So I'm not just sitting in silence. There we are. So yeah, uh, I think I'm just gonna take a moment to kind of begin writing down the different things. So source, their locations. Faith, elves, faith. There we go. Fire powers. Effects. effects depend on how long someone has spent within the vein, as well as the. Also, hang on, let me do this real quick. Bap, bap. Just for the ease of visualization for y'all, so y'all can read a bit easier. The effects depend on blood type of the person in question. Each blood type has an overall ability with positive and negative blood types, resulting different effects, primarily effects. Primarily, positive blood types will produce a external effect, while negative blood types will produce an internal effect. So I'm just gonna go, I'm just gonna write down all of the blood types, and so we can describe what it does. There we go. All right, and that is the thing is I do not know what effects will go to what blood types so far. I was kind of hoping that chat would help out with that, but it seems that there's not a whole lot of people in chat today. So I'm not gonna be forcing anything. I might just be kind of sitting here and thinking for a tiny bit. I may just make the O blood types psionic themed. Yo, also just informing my friends that I'm doing this. But yeah, I might make the O blood types psionic, but I'm not sure about A or B. A part of me is like, I should make a B positive combination of A and B effects, but that's, nah, I don't really need to do that. Yeah, I will. Let me start writing down what the O. I think I might just, for the time being, make O's psionic. The O positive. This. Although, hang on, it might be kind of interesting to give a stipulation. Telekinesis. The bounds that affected. Oh, you're O negative? Well, you might be interested in this then. So, telekinesis. I kind of want to give some like extra effects to that telekinesis, especially because I do have some ideas of the O negative and like some of the finer workings of O negative. And I feel like it would be kind of weird if O negative is more complex rules wise than O positive. Also, I think I am also O negative, but for robots and robots only. All right. So telekinesis, then, or yeah, telekinesis, telepathy, where telepathy. There you go. So O negative is telepathy, but here's just some of the stipulations that I've described with my friends before. Telepathy. The person in question is able to use their own cognitive essence as well as magic. Connect various individuals with information allowing over a broad area instantly. Though a vain user with O negative blood. Yeah, so blood type is incapable of communicating themselves unless there is another O negative nearby to connect them into. So basically the stipulations with the telepathy is that the person is able to use magic as well as their own cognitive essence to connect various individuals over a broad area and allow for communication of information instantly. Though the big stipulation is that a vain user with O negative is incapable of communicating themselves unless there's another one right next to them to connect them into the web, right? So like if they want to talk themselves, they need to have another O user or negative user to connect them, and then they probably will connect that other person into them, and then they can start talking, right? But they are incapable of doing it themselves, which is based on all the rules that O negative has. That's one reason why I want O positive to have a lot more rules than just telekinesis. But I'm unsure of what those should be, as well as I'm unsure of the other blood types. So, Fosha, if you are willing to or wanting, I am open to ideas on what these different rules or abilities should be for the different blood types. Any ideas on the table, as long as it's not like super overpowered, I would say. But yeah, that's like the general idea. So anyone in chat, I'm open to taking some ideas. If not, I may just kind of start scouring the internet for ideas. Yeah. What should abilities be? Telekinesis, lift weight equal to the user, the mounts. Oh, that's actually kind of a cool idea. Like it's more like so there is physics involved, right? Okay, that's actually a cool idea. So there's physics involved. Telekinesis. The user is incapable of lifting anything more than they can physically. Further, physics does exist to some extent with power. So if someone were to push upon the ground using their abilities, they would be launched in air. No, it's all good. No, you gave a really good idea. Don't worry about it. So okay, here's how about this, right? The user is incapable of lifting anything more than they can lift physically. Further, physics does exist to some extent within the power, so if someone were to push upon the ground using their abilities, they will launch into the air. Here's of this weight can also be affected by this, where the heavier something is, the more likely the person have a counter effect upon the person. So basically the idea is that, like, if someone's using like a rock or something as like a bullet with the telekinesis, it's a lot safer to use because there's barely any pushback. Especially if the user in question uses the pebble more as like a flicking thing rather than like something they control. And so like if they also like push against the ground, they probably also launch themselves into the air. Right? So there is some physics. So like if they are controlling a pebble, if that pebble hits the ground, they will be pushed backwards. Depending on the angle the pebble hits the ground. Does that make sense? Then, so the big thing with the other blood powers is that I want each blood type to kind of have like a theme that can be like internal and then external. So like what I mean by that is that like I want the, like, so if you notice, right, O positive and O negative. O positive is telekinesis, O negative is telepathy. Basically, more or less, it is psionics. That's the theme for O. So I want A, B, and AB to also have kind of that like theme overall. One with the external and one with the internal. We could just go full Mistborn and just have one be like enhancing physical prowess and then the other was enhancing senses. What is the most common blood type? O positive, huh? Interesting. I'm kind of interested in this. Thermal kinesis? Can I ask for some expansion upon that idea, thermal kinesis? Is that like the ability to control the temperature? Hot and cold. So yeah, they would be able to control the temperature. Of like other individuals, I guess. And then like the negative could be them controlling the affects the user as well. How would it, if I may ask, how would that affect the user as well? I was thinking that if we do thermal kinesis for a theme of like let's say we do thermal kinesis for like AB, right? Since AB is pretty wild in, right? So let's say it's like AB and AB negative. That's the theme of thermal kinesis. AB would need to be something that is outward, like affecting outside the user, and then AB would be something internally affecting. So like thermal kinesis could be like for A negative being able to AB negative, I mean it could be like them changing their personal body temperature, or like being able to change how they withstand body temperature, maybe. So like they could be fire breath. That could be kind of wild. Getting fire breath. Maybe. Like AB, huh. I wouldn't even incorporate fire breath into this. Let me try to think real quick. Because my idea for like an internal one is that they're able to change their internal body temperature, which could be like may sound kind of inconvenient or like not useful. I would say it kind of is. But like on the same part, they wouldn't be like affected by like if the summer gets like super hot, right? They'd be fine because they can just lower their body temperature and not be affected by the heat. Same with like cold weather conditions, right? They'd be able to like go out into like really cold conditions and just raise their body temperature so that they don't freeze. So that could still be kind of useful for like an explorer. I feel like fire breath would be like a really good one for like the AB positive, like fire and like ice and stuff like that, like manifesting that outwardly compared to AB negative, which would be internally. And maybe when the AB negative user is paired with, or like they touch someone, they can also change their temperature. Right? Does that, how's the vibe there, right? They like the AB negative, they're able to like touch other people and change their body temperature as well. Meanwhile, AB positive would be like straight up pyrokinesis, or like pyromancy, I guess is the better word for it, and then like cryomancy, and being able to like change the effective temperature around them, right? Rather than internally changing someone's temperature. Yeah, I mean, that's like a good yeah, that's like an interesting idea. My thing is that I feel so if a Vayne user is able to do that, I feel like that would also imply that the Vayne user is like physically altered from a normal human, right? Because like if you have ice growing on your skin as a normal human, that's a bad thing to be happening. That's like mass cell death happening right there. As well as like if the skin is super hot to the touch where it burns someone, that also would imply that the Vayne users are just like built different. Like something like physically changes within them after they use their abilities. Which, I mean, that could be like an interesting angle to explore, especially since like it may also bring in some interesting like conundrums with like the whole idea, because like blighted are able to like they're physically different from a human as well, and now the guardians of humans are also physically different. So it'd be like an interesting like dichotomy there, right? Or comparison, I should say. I'm into this. I'm into the idea. So here, let's write it down. Thermal. We can play chicken first before jumping out the way. So if that's the case, you're basically saying that if someone does that, they can. Actually, that's an interesting idea. That's actually a super interesting idea, right? Like, imagine someone's able to do that, right? They freeze their skin, right? So it's like more armor, but they can't keep their skin frozen too long, or else they start getting like cell death and shit, right? They get frostbite, like if they do it too long. But if they do it for like a second, it could be like a really interesting way of measuring how quickly someone's able to like use their ability to be like, you know, 1 second having normal skin to 1 second using like freezing their skin so that it can like block a strike from like a strike, and then immediately like thawing that skin without like massive damage to the body. That's actually super cool. Okay, never mind. The person's not, they're not gonna be different like physically. They're just gonna be there. They literally just need to like time themselves. They need to play chicken with their own body. That's super fucking cool. That's super cool. Okay, let's do it. So thermal kinesis. The person or the user is capable of changing their own internal body temperature at will. This includes all the benefits of having a warm body in a cold environment, or a cold body in a hot environment. When contacting someone else, they are also able to change the body temp of the person they are touching, as long as it occurs themselves, or no, as long as they are touching. This can go to extremes such as flash freezing their skin or making it extremely hot to the touch. Hello, Second Vendetta. We go to extremes such as making this flash freezing the skin or making it hot to the touch, but the damage such effects could have upon a normal body will still occur. There we go. So someone with like AB negative, basically they are able to change their internal body temperature at will. Or change their body temperature. I'm just gonna say body temperature. It doesn't have to be internal. This includes all the benefits of having a warm body in a cold environment, or a cold body in a hot environment. When contacting someone else, they are able to change the body temp of the person they are touching, and this can go to extremes such as flash freezing their skin or making it extremely hot to the touch, but the damage of such effects will still happen upon the body, so they need to be careful and quick about how they do that. Hello, Second Vendetta. As you can see, we are doing another world building stream. We are kind of flushing out the abilities of the Vein, which is the magic system that naturally occurred within the world itself after the disease. More or less, a cool little thing that happens. The abilities, that being said, are also organized into what blood type you have. So, for instance, if you have O positive or O negative, you have the ability to, if you have O positive, you have the ability telekinesis. And if you're O negative, you have telepathy. Or if you have AB negative, you have thermal kinesis. And then I'm going to say for AB positive, following this idea of internal versus external, AB is able to change the temperature of an area around them, right? They're able, like let's say like there is a zone of influence that they have. They are able to, within that zone of influence, change the temperature of that thing. So like, for instance, if they could probably, I imagine the higher temperatures require more magical energy to be spent. So like, for instance, they won't be able to look at someone and then fucking like incinerate the person without using a lot of magic. But they could do something like that with like coal, for instance, since coal has a very low ignition point. Or like paper, which even has like a lower ignition point. Or they could like freeze water, or at least make water very nice and cold. Within that zone of influence. I think it's just yeah. Right? I think it may also be like they are incapable of doing heating or cooling at the same time. They can only do one at a time. How does that sound to everyone? Someone's calling me. It was my dad. It was my dad. So yeah, how does that sound to everyone? Like the are like AB positive is able to like control the like the temperature of things around them. And they are not able to heat or cool something at the same time. I also imagine like the temperature of their surroundings also affects how much effort they need to put into like heating or cooling. So like if they're in a desert and they're trying to make some ice, it would require a lot more like cooling effort to make ice than it would be to like boil the water in a desert. Similar with like making a fire in like a ice environment, like a mountaintop, for instance. Right? It would require a lot more effort on the part of the user to make a fire than otherwise. Sounds solid. Would be wild if someone could shift temps both ways at the same time. Don't need someone making it too easy to temp stress stuff too easily. Yeah, no, that's why I said that they can't do it at the same time. Right? They cannot temp stress something super quickly like that. So yeah, let me write this down. So the thermal kinesis 2. The user is capable of heating or cooling things around them. Yeah. Around them. Words and things. Tasty. Around them. Within a given area of facts. The person is not able, or the user is not able to heat or cool something at the same time, and still go to extremes with their heat and such as going to points, melting points, or ignition points. So go to would require a considerable amount of magic. They are also affected by the environments around them. So if they try to ignite something in a frigid environment, I keep misspelling environment, but so what? Frigid environment, then they would need much more effort in order to have the desired. Same with something in a boss fire. There we go. All right, second vendetta. Foitia. What's Fotia? I'm always unsure. Fotia, I think. What ideas? So, second vendetta. Since you are now just joining the stream, I should let you know. As you can probably tell by looking, each ability, or like each blood type, like arcane blood type, has like an overall theme. So like O is negative, like I was gonna say negative is like psionics, that's the word, and then this is like thermokinesis, right? So I am open to suggestions for A and B themes, and then we can figure out how to make the abilities internal for negative and then external for positive. So I'm open to suggestions again. Sound control? How would sound control electrokinesis? I feel like... Yeah, I was about to say, electrokinesis could be interesting, where one person would be able to, like, enhance themselves using electricity. I feel like the external one would just instantly kill most people, though. Unless it's, like, static. Because like the big thing is that the standard users of this is that their abilities like don't change their body. So like for instance, right, like the danger of like being a telekinetic is that they are only able to really lift things that they themselves can lift, and if they hit something with like enough weight, they will get like the counter effect. Or like here, right? They have to worry about like their like cell death and shit from heating or cooling their own bodies too extremely. And then this one's just kind of obvious, right? If they don't want to light themselves on fire by accident. So I feel like electrokinesis would be cool. I feel like the external would kind of kill the people in question. That being said, I think we could just straight up take the this idea from Brando Sando real quick, and we could like make a positive, like we could have one that enhances the like physical body, like, you know, muscle, speed, pain threshold, healing, and then one that's like enhancing the senses, right? Just, you know, classic Pewter and Tin in from Mistborn. I think I'm gonna do that for A's. I'm still interested. Fotia, what's the idea? Like, can we expand? Like, can you like give me some ideas on how sound control could work? Because that one does catch my interest. So, physical enhancements capable of increasing their body function, such as like muscle density, I guess, or muscle strength, healing, etc., while they are using, or pain threshold, etc., while they are actively tapping the magic reserve from the vein. If the user is not careful, they can harm themselves once they stop ability, as the body will not tell about injuries as. There we go. And then this one is just sense enhancement. User is capable of increasing their body senses to higher. It's their eyesight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. They can increase it to the point of such as being the dark or hear through stone. That being said, the players can also quickly harm themselves if something unexpected occurs. A loud noise, your hearing, and example. There we go. So yeah, we just need B now. That's the tricky one, is B. I'm still interested in what sound control could be. Vendetta, I'm gonna say maybe no on the electrokinesis, due to the fact that we basically tried to establish that the people using the vein do not actually like physically change. External can mute an entire area, but the user is also affected or cause a large boom in the area that can cause temporary hearing loss or nausea. The internal can hear everything in range, and they can hear see. So the issue with that one is that I feel like the internal can I feel like the internal would kind of overlap with the sense enhancement. That being said, I feel like we can work with the internal idea. So I am kind of interested in sound control, right? So like, and what can we do to kind of make it not overlap with sense enhancement and still have it be internal? Idea. So external can no, maybe not. So external, here's my idea. External is the ability to within like a given area increase or decrease sound, right? And they can focus in on a specific sound. So for instance, if they have a drum, right? They can enhance the sound of the drum within an affected area to make it like the sound of like a fucking explosion, right? Or like they can do that, right? The internal is that they can produce different sounds, right? So like the external needs to latch on to a sound. The internal, like, they can like change the sound of their voice, right, to someone else's voice. Or they can like increase the volume of their own voice to like a banshee scream, right? With like the internal one. So the internal is more about the productions of one's own sound, while the external one is much more about the enhancement of external sounds, but it can't be sounds that they themselves produce. Boom! Now we're cooking. That sounds fucking cool, right? That sounds cool. Okay, so I'm gonna say external sound enhancement. Within a given area, a user can enhance or sound control. I'm gonna say sound control. So within a given area, a user can enhance, can change the sound being produced by a person, object, or natural person, objects, or thing. That they are incapable of changing their own sounds, though sound they can, for instance, increase the sound of a drum to levels 15 and explosion, or decrease the sound to intermediate levels when it comes to people walking upon a substance. Audiokinesis. That works. This external. Audiokinesis. Internal. The user is capable of changing the sounds that they themselves produce, be it changing their voice, someone else's, or someone else's. Be it changing their voice to someone else's, increasing the volume of their scream to that of a weapon, or just making themselves as silent as possible. There we go. External sounds are making themselves as silent as possible in terms of bodily functions, such as heart beating, etc. Sounds such as footsteps cannot be affected, as that is an external sound, though produced by the individual in question. I'm also going to say the user is also affected by the sounds enhancement in cases where it is days or less the user is careful about how they change nouns. There we go. Nice. Okay, so we got all of the blood types. That's pretty cool. These are the abilities of the normal humans to fight against the blighted, which, yeah, it's pretty simple for the blighted, at least, compared to the Vayne, which is very it's a lot. There's a lot going on in the Vayne. All right. With the magic system complete and the basic idea of the world complete, now we get into the fun stuff. Now we get to do some stuffs. Like, for instance, actually establishing areas and like plot and characters and like towns, stuff like that. So I've already been thinking about this. So here's my proposal to all of y'all in chat. Basically what occurred is that with the disease, I'm going to give you some background to kind of build up the idea. So with the disease, with the blight, any civilizations that were kind of blossoming before the blight disappeared, right? So like the blighted were like targeting villages specifically, and because there was no way to defend themselves at the time, it basically made, if you were living in a village, it basically meant that you were a sitting duck for the blighted to come in and nosh on them bones. Then they discovered the vein. So my idea for the setting so far is probably a pretty micro setting, all things considered. That being, it is going to be kind of focused around the first ever city on the world, made thanks to the vein, and like the users of the vein being able to control and also be resistant to the blight while they're using the vein. They can fight against the blight, right? And basically, I imagine at this point, right, society has like fully developed within the city, right? There's like someone's been cast, there's religion. I imagine to the even to the point where there's like, I imagine it's to the point in the world where within the affected area, everyone who is living like not infected by the blight is within the city, with very, very small groups of people like that are still nomadic off in the wild, right? But I imagine that there is the city has grown thanks to the vein to the point where they are able to produce like bronze weaponry, like Bronze Age tech, right? As well as they have quickly realized that they need to expand to get resources, right? So I imagine there's like satellite villages around the city that's like being protected by the vein users. Yeah. So what do y'all think about that, right? So like that's like the setting is like it's going to be the city as well as like the surrounding area of the city, as well as like maybe one or two of the satellites towns that are used for resources. And I imagine the satellite towns are like undesirable living quarters because you are farther from the vein and thus farther from the source of vein users. So I imagine like it's common for blighted bands to attack a village, and like one or two people to get like kidnapped or eaten by the blight or the blighted, before like a defense is mounted, right? Because the vein users don't want to use the power they have and all that jazz. What are y'all thoughts on that whole debacle? As for like a potential plot, sounds like a pretty rough world to live in. Well, that does happen when there's like an apocalyptic plague that spreads throughout the world, thanks to some idiot dying. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm also looking at some things. Yeah, okay. So the thing is, right, I like to imagine that the city is able to expand to such a point because they also, let me like increase the volume of my song. I realize it's not like, there we go. Sounds like Rome. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. I imagine this, right, where like imagine being guards, militia, public security in some of these satellites and watching the places you live in slowly get picked at by these vultures from the blighted areas. Yeah, I imagine that's not a great feeling, which probably might cause some tension. Especially because like I said, I imagine the Vayne users aren't as eager to use their abilities as they are within the main city, because they don't want to like run out of their juice, right? So it might even be a situation where some of these Vayne users on the outskirts of cities, like intentionally look away when these incidents occur, and leave it to normal people to fight against the Blighted because they don't want to use their abilities. You know, like assholes. But I imagine one reason why the main city thought they could get away with doing something like this is because the big thing is that the Blighted haven't really organized at all. Right? There isn't, like, for the longest time, there wasn't like a Blighted society. Right? Like they are like one of those things where like there isn't like a perceived society to the Blighted. It's just like random attacks by like one or two Blighted. But I imagine like the kind of like almost like the rising tension almost is the fact that there is more Blighted appearing recently in raids, especially in the outer towns. And the biggest concern is that the Blighted are using weapons now. So do the people of this city and its satellites just try to keep hidden in their own in their city and town, or do they have people who need that protection and seek things outside of those places? I imagine for a very long time, people did not want to leave the city because they would lose the ability to be protected by the Vayne. So I would like to also say, I'd like to say this real quick. The city is built around the largest and only known coagulation of world blood, right? So that's why they built the city there. It's because like they have world blood for the Vayne on tap. They got that on tap, dude. So that's like the main thing, right? Is that they got that juice on tap. I imagine the villages are more or less for resources that they can no longer acquire from the city itself. So like mining for metal or like large scale food production is all done within these satellite towns. Yeah, right. So like that's the thing, is that it's even then those satellite towns probably had like one or two like Vayne users out, like going out there to find the areas where these satellite towns are built. And then I imagine beyond that, they don't explore that far out because they don't want to, right? They don't want to work, like they're worried about like the Blighted, right? The farther out they go. Because like I imagine, especially with the time period that we're gonna be writing in, that this city and almost like growing nation are more or less like the first ever nation state in the world, or at least known nation state in the world. That being said, of course, there are like a few tribes or like clans or groups of people walking, like that are still nomadic, right? They have not gone to the city for various reasons. And for all I know, right? These different people found their own. Hang on a second. Oh my god. Sorry, I got like super like nasally all of a sudden. I imagine like the imagine there's like some nomadic people still that occasionally come in and then they tell stories of the outside world, or like the greater outside world. For all I know, some of these people have found their own Bane, right? And they don't need to worry about like going to the city because they got their own Vane users, which may actually be an interesting conundrum. Yeah, I need to blow up a news. So, do the people of this city and its size just try to keep hidden? Oh yeah, I already read that. So to go back and answer the question, more accurately, because I wish I didn't really answer the question. They are fine being where they are. I wouldn't say they're really hidden because like, how do you keep a city hidden? Eventually someone's gonna find it. It's more that they're too concerned about like survival than they are about exploring. Especially with the blighted around. But I imagine the big like plot point is like the fact that the blighted are increasing in number when it comes to raids. And that there is like they're increasing due to the there's more blighted appearing in raids, and that they're starting to use weapons, right? Which is a thing they haven't done before. So, yeah, that's the thing. What thoughts on that? Thoughts on anything that I rambled about for the past 10 minutes? Big yawn. Actually, I am kind of curious. I think let's start writing some of this stuff down, right? So, summary of the world so far, magic. Then let's go with like. There we go. Man, I really need to go. I'm gonna go blow my nose real quick. I'll be right back.
Mayak.
Yeah, so let's start writing some of this stuff down. So let's just go like setting. Yeah. There we go. Currently, upon the world, there is one single major city. The city is built around the current only known source of world blood, a source of vein. Yeah. Source of vein, and thus compared to other villages during the beginning of the Blight, the city has grown a large size. Thanks to use the vein, the city has enjoyed relative peace as the Blighted are incapable of any major impacts upon the city and the city's populace, thanks to warrior caste that veins in current day. Size of the city resources have become scarce, so they have begun expanding outwards, not only with having more or less slums outside of the walls of itself, but also satellites, towns that in much sources. Satellites are protected by a militia as well as banners, though the latter may or may not be affected. Question wanting to serve their natural ability in case something. The reason primarily that the city is able to enjoy such peace is that the Blighted are unorganized and are seen as feral, though they are still able to communicate and speak one another.
Someone's texting me. Who's texting me? People are texting me. Fuck off. Big wolf mean.
There we go. Speak with one another. Yeah, so we'll communicate with the veins. Acts that once terrorized and dramatic for decades has all but though in recent times militia have been reporting to the main leaders of these towns that the Blighted are not only seen in number, but organization with defined leaders, as well as bearing such as clothes and weaponry. This, so far, has been ignored. There, it is unknown how many uninfected humans are outside of the city and Earth's satellites, but it is known that they are out there. Commonly, people will come and trade food or furs and other such goods that may be as exotic. They also tell of how the outside is and usually confirms the people of the towns and cities that shit is fucked out there, yo. It is fucked out there. It is unknown how the people have survived for this long with no attacks, considering the fact that they have not demonstrated Bane abilities. There we go. That's a summary of the setting as it currently stands. Let's see how fucked up this is looking. Looking pretty fucked up, yo. Yo, question for chat. Question for chat here, gamers. What should the planet be called? I don't think this is gonna be called the Forsaken. As in, I don't want to call it the Forsaken. You should call it something like a proper name. Neuronus Testia Neuronus or Neuronus. Okay, I'm gonna ask this. I'm gonna ask this from both of you. Why the names? Is there any particular reason, or is it just cool sounding names? And if it's just a cool sounding name, you know, I'm not gonna reject it. If it's just a cool sounding name, you know. Neurons. Hello, Powerpuff Tubes Halo. The symbol on the first thing that popped into my head. You know, I might go with Neuronus. Oh, thank you, Powerpuff. I think I'm gonna go with Neuronus because I think that just sounds really cool too. Let's go Neuronus. There we go. What should the first... You know, we'll use Trestia as the city's name. There's one single way to do that is no. Called Trestia. There we go. So we can use both names. We can use both names. It's all good. Trestia. Nice. Need to restart? Hell yeah. Restart away. I look forward to your return. Alrighty, so now that we have that, What should we start working on? So I'm here. I'm open. Like, it feels like we're kind of getting to the point where the setting is. So that's like the overall view. Let's kind of get into the nitty gritty of it. I feel like I got some things I want to write down. I'm gonna offer you guys some questions that I'm kind of interested in seeing what your takes are. What kind of government is Trestia? What is there like what is there like what is like kind of society is it? Like, is there like a caste system, or is it just like more free flowing? What is the environment, right? Is it like a sea area, almost kind of like a Mediterranean thing? Is it a little bit more like inland, like something like more of a Central Europe or Asia, or is it something kind of like different, like in the Americas, for instance? Because I'm gonna write something down here. I'm gonna write something a little zany, a little bananas. So, creation myth. The creation myth of the setting. Tasty. Creation myth. I wish there was a way to make this the default. So, while the world was getting ravaged by the blight, people were scattered and on the constant, unless they are descended upon by the blighted. Who's texting me? I don't care.
I don't care.
There we go. Was descended upon the blighted by the blight. One such of traveling one day when they came upon a pond of what appeared and smelled to blood, yet it did not dry nor hot, and flowed as if it was a weed. There we go. While resting this pond of blood, the tribe was attacked by the blighted, and a warrior fighting against the power of the blighted fell into the pond itself, emerged, and was given the blessing of the vein, where he struck down, attacking blighted as if attacking blighted. There we go. Struck down the attacking blighted, knowing that wasn't infected. He implored his comrades stay, build around the pond, and from there grow outward for security, knowing that the blood keeps the people safe. And it did. It did so well that word soon traveled about a city resistant to the light and all of its forces. Its struck out into all of his forces. Peoples from all over the world gathered around the city for protection and to be blessed by the blight. Welcome back, Vendetta. Blight. Thus, Trestia was born, named after the warrior which first blighted. Creation myth! Yay! Nice. So, this is like my idea for the creation myth of the of Trestia, and I think a little bit that being part of like the vein users and stuff like that is like not only are you getting like a bit of like immunity from the blight and all of that, all these cool abilities, but I also imagine everyone in there is kind of religious, right? It's like a religion almost, and you like, I imagine you aren't really allowed into the pool unless you are like a pre-existing member of like the religion, and all that. What do y'all think about that whole idea, like the religion stemming around kind of like this warrior and the blood being like a sacred thing, while the blighted is infernal or sacrilege? Hopefully that sounds like a pretty cool idea. And if not, I will cry it live on stream. Sorry, just checking some things. Go. Cool. If I was ruling the ruling class, not only would I happily allow this, I would also help drive it and even twist it so a little so it could be used. Yeah. That's a good idea. So. Monarchy then, I assume? Like, it's definitely like, it sounds like it would be like a monarchy if that's the case, right? If you're the ruling class and this is like this religion. I would argue that the ruling, like the ruler of the city and the surrounding area probably like try to legitimize their power by saying that they are like the direct descendants of Trestia, right? Of the warrior. And I feel like they're basically so good at like saying this and shit that that most people don't question it. Like, how does that sound? That sounds pretty wild, pretty wacky, pretty goofy, pretty crazy. So yeah, they solidify it. Yeah. What would this religion be called? Yeah. Cool. Let me just government. Yay. For Christian government. The Christian government is that of a monarchy. A religious monarchy. There we go. Religious monarchy. Where head of states is declared direct descendant of the warrior that established the town and the surrounding areas. The government is divided downwards by I don't know, the advisors of the ruler of the city, as well as the faiths and the all of them are highly tied together, with some being considered all versions. Main user, a religious leader, and an advisor to the most people, especially in the outer city or the satellites, may or may not even in the religious connotations of the ruler, and may just be thankful that there is someone in charge at all, especially hard times. All the time. There we go. So that's the Trustian government. And as well as like a bit of a primer on the religion. So I don't really think there is anything else to really talk about, right? Like I think we kind of got everything set up more or less. Unless, okay, here's the question. Here's a question for chat. Do we want, or do you want to get spoiled on some of the things that I'm thinking about for the story idea itself? Because I don't want to ruin any of the fun of actually reading the story, especially one that we have worked together on, you know? Because they do have some ideas, especially about things like the Blighted and the such, that I'm not necessarily super keen on sharing. But if it is like a thing that we should like 100% do, then I will not deny. Because I mean, as I said, right, there's like a couple of fucking plot points here. Because like if there is none of this, like if you don't want to hear about any of the potential conflict that might be throughout the story, I think we should just move on to like making characters and stuff, right? That sounds valid. That sounds hot and valid to me. Spoilers don't much bother me. Well, I guess like I'm also asking because like I don't want to like ruin the potential fun of someone else reading the story. You know what I mean? I think you know what, I'm gonna do an executive decision here. I think we should just move on to making some characters. Like the characters that will follow the story, that will be in the story. The primary thing is that the main character needs to be a Vane user of some variety. Ideas on main characters. Gun emoji. Or potential ideas on main character. Gun emojis. Because I do got some ideas. At least some ideas on like temperament or something like that. Right? Or if y'all want, I can also just like straight up just tell y'all the my character idea, the main character idea I have. Ooh, hiccupy. All right. My idea for a main character, because like, I'm just gonna move on since you know nothing really much happened. My idea for a main character is also, let me just kind of get this ready. One characters. Nice and organized. So my idea for a main character is that we are going to be following a individual from one of the outside tribes, right? Someone who isn't entirely in the know when it comes to the like the city of Trestia and all of its inner workings. And I imagine that they are more or less like forced away from their like family, more or less, and into the city, because I imagine they accidentally get some of the stored Vane while there's like an attack on the village of like from the Blighted, right? So like so the idea. Oh, see ya, Vendetta. You have a good day. So yeah, the idea for the main character is that they are someone from the outside, like from the outside tribes, right? And they go into a satellite village of Trestia in order to trade, as they probably usually do when they're around the area. While they're in the area, a group of organized blighted come in and attack the village, right? And then what of course happens is that the main character, you know, probably like has to take up arms, fight against the blighted. One of a vein user deems it to be a big enough threat to actually use the vein. They come on in, and then somehow, some way, the main character gets whatever reserved vein that the vein user had on them, which gives them vein abilities, right? So there's a couple of things you should probably establish with the main character. That being things like, you know, background, like what they look like, personality, and then we got also think about blood type. It may be kind of cute if we kind of go off of the idea of like how like the Japanese thinks blood type affects personality. That might be kind of like a neat idea to kind of go off of, especially considering everything. Though the question is, of course, if we do end up doing that, is what kind of, like, what blood type does the character have? Because their blood type will affect what abilities they have when they have the vein. I might also reorganize this a little bit, so it's a bit better for me to just kind of zip to. Yeah, hang on, let me just kind of zip this around a little bit. So that's gonna go to a heading 1. Oh no! Okay. Well, I'm thinking I'm just going to format this so it's a bit actually. Go. Magic. Just gonna go light. That. Trying to make it a bit easier on me when it comes to like finding different things on the sidebar. Gotta go. Glad I was able to catch the stream. Yeah, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for coming. I might also be wrapping up soon, and anyway, since it does feel like the stream is running a little low on Steam. You know, valid. Just gonna be kind of doing all of this real quick. Don't really need to do any of that for this. Actually, I might just do it for the different blood types, just so I can just snap to them super quickly. Make them so they're smallish. Gotta love formatting. Yay. It's the absolute best. Can't really complain because I'm actively doing it, you know? I got some ideas. So I'll probably be working on some of this stuff out of stream as I have been. Ah! There we go. I'll probably work on some of this out of stream, primarily because I do kind of want to get writing this soon, especially because A Mouthful of Spells is close to being finished with writing. That, of course, not with editing or anything, but the fact that I'm getting close as I am is, you know, I want to kind of start working on a different setting relatively quickly. But yeah, I'm gonna say that this is the stream here. Now I'm done with all of the formatting. Thank you all so much for coming to my stream today. I hope you all enjoyed. Let's raid someone. Who is online? A lot of people are online. I don't know who to raid here. Just fucking raid. Who the fuck should I raid? Raid this person. Raid me? Yeah, I may or may not stream again tomorrow. Maybe I'll try if I can. But beyond that, I hope everyone had a wonderful day today. And yeah, I will see you all next time.